All right. Looking for EIA Natty gas here in about 3 minutes. I noticed that both money flow and on-balance volume on the spot index recently oversold. So I'm looking for some sort of pullback to get in the long. On the flip side, basically, here's a happy place about 76. We're a few pennies off of that. The next level would be the previous highs, 79, we'll say 80, and then 82 area, okay, and above that then 85, and then back up to the upper 90s, okay. It's just basically, we've basically fleshed out all the bulls, okay, for now. I should take a look here at a longer term and see how we're doing. Okay, you can see that the unbalanced volume is, or excuse me, the money flow has come off from the highs here and previous spots where it's held. Okay, you know, even at the worst for the bears, it would be a shoulder ahead and another shoulder. This is on a daily. The next lower level would be 240, then 230, and then 210 area. Okay. Then I would go and look for the deferred contracts because now I have people who are willingly able to sell those. Don't forget about the mini contracts. Okay, and you can see on a weekly basis, there's still some froth up in there. So the people are still holding on here. All right, let's go take a look here. All right. 15 seconds. Okay, so here's pivot. Went below pivot, 72. What you could do is have, where are we at here? So there's pivot here and here. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll move this down, kind of like resting buys on the pivot. It has to clear it on a closing basis. Come on, you. All right. Oh, I have to push the button. There we go, Kev. Okay, so, all right, so we're down to here. This is a support area, okay? So what, all right, so DRYS is open. It's been cut in half. Okay, so we've come back through on the pivot here. Okay, so went below the pivot, now we're above the pivot. Okay, it's gonna need to hold it for the day. Okay, basically, I'm gonna say that the low at 270 is in for the day. Okay, and we're down about a nickel. Okay, so I'm gonna put an alarm here just in case. Okay, where are we at? Okay, whoops, that was below. All right. Okay, so monitor, Natty gas, call options. Oops. So what do we have? Days, there's $3, 298. Buy a couple here. Now what do we have? A call. 295, I remember that. Basically just adding to the calls and the weakness here. And short a put. I really don't want to do that, but we'll do it anyway. Okay, so what I did was I bought, I'm just adding to the position, just a couple of contracts. It's a fuddy-duddy account, but the deal is it's the strategy in it all. Here I have natural gas where I'm getting a signal. Now, it doesn't mean that we just don't trade up until the first couple of weeks of December and then roll back over. Okay, so it's basically, if this does hold, I'd look for it for a couple of days. Like basically I said a flip here's 6 cents, but if we clear this one, then we might get another 20 on the upside. But it's basically the only thing that's left here is that you have the longs, the weekly longs that are still holding on here. Okay, and in the big scheme of things, let's take a look here. Let's do it this way. What do I need here? Nat gas. Okay. All right, so let's take a look here. So what we have going on here is this daily natural gas in the spot, okay? The low 161, we moved up. This is basically the first pullback from the move all the way up. I expect a sideways pattern at best. You have the cloud for resistance, which is in your upper 290s, okay? Like I said, I would prefer, all of a sudden we roll into December off of these and you get out of them, and then all of a sudden the winter doesn't develop and you're back down to 220. That's what I would like to see. An opportunity we get to, you get willing people who are going to sell it at a discount to you, and I'd look for deferred contracts then. Okay, and you can go out, but the liquidity begins to dry up. All right, poke a few of these here. What's this high? Up there. Okay. So what we have is, like we saw in the weekly, the unbalanced volume. They're still holding on. So we're about halfway back. So we basically cleaned out all these people here. At best, I'd say that this is a bear flag and lower, but just, for the next couple of days or into next week, kind of lean towards flipping natural gas to the upside here. All right, so we have the pullback, okay, and here's the pivot, and it's holding the pivot, okay, and here's the support level. There is some sort of happy areas here, okay, but basically, like I said, I think this is going to probably hold. If it doesn't, then we'll probably start getting the people who are on the weekly to start puking it up. Yeah, but for right now, I'd like to see, okay, so we have a high here. I have most alerts above. So I have a mark down here, which is a happy place. Okay. Kind of working on somewhat of a pennant here. In theory, it's flat here, and you go towards the side that it breaks out at, so it'll break out to the upside. Like I said today, it's pretty cool where I'm at. You might have to turn on the heat, so why not buy natural gas, right? That's how people think. Well, that's the whole deal with the natural gas is one day you'll wake, you'll know the minus 40 is coming, and it'll take off running just like DRYS, which we should take a look and see what's going on there, since I had some bells and whistles. Okay, well, here's the story here, right? Okay, so we're trading at 31 bucks. I'd mentioned in this morning's video about insanity. I'd mentioned previously about the shippers that I like. 90% of all goods goes by ship. Talked about bullying stocks around. Now we have to deal with the repercussions of all these people who are chasing after all these whatever different names, Eagle and stuff, and blah, 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 blah. But now what I'm going to look for here, since I like the shippers, is I would go, whoops, I'm going to have to switch over the camera. I bet you didn't switch it over. Where am I at? That one. All right. All right. So DRYS is at 31, high of 120. Okay. So it's come all the way back down. It did hit a lower, here's a pivot area and also a lower regression line. It banged off that. Is it fixed? Looks like the price is fixed again. So it looks like it's halted again. All right. That's, like I said in this morning's video, there's going to be a lot of lessons learned here. Okay. But for me, I'd want to go and take a look. Where is it? All right, screener. Okay, so what I did was I just hit like North American. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm at FinViz. I hit North American tankers. I hit shipping. Okay, now I believe I have them sorted by market cap. Okay, so that just gives me an idea of, I assume everybody that knows something, all right? So, but the shippers have been tough because of the prices have, they have moved recently, but the prices have been muted in a while. And you never know when these things go bankrupt. Okay, so I just listed it by market cap here. So what I'm looking for is, I would prefer to find the ones that were, like this one says gas log, the LNG type deal. Natural gas is still cheap. We're working on LNG. I did not know this, but when you liquefy it, it shrinks in size like 600%. So, you know, we as humans, hey, you know, natural gas, you know, they can make it that it burns into water, right? Kind of thing. There's some carbon left over, but okay, so here's NAT. Okay, so NAT on weakness I'd be interested in. The deal is you know, I don't know which ones are healthy. I just have to go off of the charts. Besides here, I can go by valuation. All right, here's an interesting one. Here's earning per share for this year. Okay, so this NAT earning per share up 950%, but next year it's going to be down 65%. Okay, so, you know, next year's earnings, okay, gas with 2 S's, what do you know? All right, so you hit the charts. So what I'm looking for is, now that DRYS is exploding or imploding, I'm looking to buy on weakness here, okay? You know, things like, you know, what happened to Fro, you know, some of these were names that you remember in the past. But like I said, I can only go off of what the charts look like. I don't EBITDA, I don't know. Plus also, remember, even though these things are listed in America, they're foreign. Yeah, they're supposed to have accounting, but we all remember how Enron and that worked with accounting. So that's, you understand why I prefer futures. I understand gold. But I would say that any weakness today, I would come in and buy some of these shippers, if you guys have been following them, to start doing some accumulation. But a lot of these have already moved, right? So you know, you have something that's moved from $3 to, we'll say from $3 to $30 and come back. So they've already had their move. But the deal is I get a mark on the chart for future targets to point people at. That looks pretty good. Let's take a look at that. I have this. Okay, so here's our natural gas. We'll look at it once again real quick. All right, so natural gas. Basically, you know, the unbalanced volume up in here was kind of ripe. We're getting a pullback here, about 50%. And so we're needing, well, I'd like to buy in some weakness here. NAT. Okay, so NAT, as you can see here, actually I should do the screen today while I have some time. What I'm marking is areas where the unbalanced volume is down. For some reason, I fell in love with the unbalanced volume on this chart service. Some of the other chart services just doesn't work. I go with money flow on Thinkorswim and an unbalanced volume here. Unbalanced volume used to have issues because of, if they had options, people would put the options on it, wouldn't show up into the stock. So looking at the NAT here, okay, so we have a bounce off. If it comes into the gap area, I'd be interested in buying. Okay, so I need to write down accumulate. Okay, and how accumulate, a couple of ways of going at this one here. Okay, we'll just use weekly bars. So say on a weekly bar, okay, it comes through here. What you do is you can put a buy, say you want to buy if it comes through. So on a weekly, these are daily, but on a weekly, you put a buy in here. Then the week would go by, and whatever that following week's low is, put the buy down there, right? And then the following week, put the buy down there. So you might not get the low, but you'll get the second best low, you know, for on a weekly basis, and then it turns. And now, you know, how I do things is now we're up to the cloud. There's possible pause, even though there's more room to run. I might write some, say, $10 calls, go out 2 months kind of thing. Okay, so Natty gas came back down. All right, upload this one real quick. And then flip back over to Natty gas. All right, so now we're down to 23. Yeah, this is I warned, you know, but it's, I can't, you know, I wrote about, you know, yes, I've been around a long time, right? And I posted on stock charts, you know, here's where you have to think about that last 13%, which was from 102, whatever 102 and 13% is, you know, and the high was 120, and now it's just collapsing. All right, so here we have Natty gas again. I'm now going to, let's switch over to UGAS. Okay, so UGAS. All right, so where are we at? 2237. Okay, so we're below. So here's median line. Okay, so in theory, though, you want to add on the break if it's going your way, because now you're doing the knife thing. You know, like I bought below here. Now we're below here again. So do I buy below again, or do I wait for it to come back through? In theory, come back through. Okay. What's Boyle at? Boyle have options? Boyle. Okay. I don't think it has options. I got it as options. It's thin. Well, let's just see here. Those are way overpriced. What about a spread on here? That doesn't work. Oh, look at this. We do have some open interest here. Anything for puts? A little bit of put action over here. What I'm just looking for is to see if there's any interest. Definitely have some interest in March on here. Okay, that'd be 14 and that's 11. That's way too much. We'll just, like I said, this is just a fuddy-duddy account. Hold on, 470. Good till cancel. Okay, go back to the charts. It's just I used that. I needed something for reference points, because I literally I could talk all day long, talk about all kinds of stuff, but I needed, like I said, the human brain can only handle 6 things at a time. So, you know, if I start talking, some of you trade futures, some of you just trade like 3 times ETN, some go after stocks, you know, on and on and on and on. Yeah, DRYS is definitely going to be a lesson for folks. Something that they learned here. I mean, you know, when I was buying it in July and stuff, was basically I was looking for the weakness. You know, if I thought the shipper's going to come through, you know, and they were all beaten up and weak, and they just wouldn't go anywhere, because I'd been talking about shippers and stuff for, I think it's 14 or 15. You know, what I'm talking about the transports. I like the transports because they were beaten up. You know, that's the thing. Things are beaten up. If there's a hard day down in the market, you go after that. You get an opportunity to buy weak on a weekday, you know. All right, that's a nice setup there. 70, I think, was a number we looked at before. Okay, what do I have on the natural gas here? So April. So under 3. Okay. So three is going to be the target, just a mental target kind of deal. That's not going to work out then, right? February 316. Okay, so there's room. Okay, so there's room on the pullback here. There's some space on the front end. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. Is I'm looking for some of this extra fluff to come back down. The latter ones where the season's over with, they're already under 3. So this front end one is what I want to see come off. Okay. Okay. Four days left on the oil. 46. All right. Okay, DRYS. Okay, so natural gas. Go back to Natty. Natty gas. Daily. Okay, so let's open this thing up. All right, so okay. So basically the trigger here is the happy place back on the upside. And I will say I'm done for right now on doing more accumulating. And see if we can get the price to close over pivots for today. Let's take a look while I have some time here. Okay, so this morning I talked about that a weaker dollar per se. Okay, get out of you, free up some cash, sell. Boom. Okay, I'm shorting some US Swedish kroner at 121 here. Whoops, that's what I'm doing. As you can see, I try to avoid as much as possible of stuff that I think you guys are playing, because I want to, I want to remain as neutral as possible here. That's like I said, I'm a navigator. I'd be a coach on the sidelines. I wouldn't throw the pass. I'd have the play. This is the plan, and this is what we're gonna do here. And if it works out, it's you drop the ball. Dropping the ball is like having the right, the price at the right spot and not getting filled. That would be dropping the ball. Since I've been doing this for so long, if it says, I avoid round numbers. If my chart says to buy at 47, at 100.47, well, I know that people are going to stall it at 50. Well, I may buy at 51, 52, 53 kind of deal. That kind of thing. You have to, there is the mechanical part of it, which it basically is. Trading is basically mechanical. It's between your ears that causes the most issues. All right. I think coffee's done for now. They still won't give this up. What are these, daily? Okay, they still won't give this up here. I'd maybe look for coffee on the way up. I think it's Joe as the symbol, is maybe take the short side of this thing here. But we're already in a good movement here, so the momentum can pick up again. Things like there's a strike. You know, then all of a sudden coffee takes off screaming and only lasts for one day. I've seen that game before too. I've seen a lot of games in coffee and cotton, you know. That's why, you know, all my toe stubbing and that it comes back and I tell you about it, you know, like the DRYS thing. That one's, it's classic Kevin right there. That last, here's where that last, what did I say, 12 or 15% or something versus the loss of the 500%. And there you go. It's unfortunate, but that's, you know, you can't just go scrambling through the forest with a hunting rifle expecting to get a deer, you know. Doesn't work that way. Okay, so this morning we did have some continuation, but not much. What do we have going on now? The Nasdaq's the only one holding it together here. Gosh, what's this level? Okay, 80. So we hit the 80, the 85. It pulled back, and then we're back up to the 80 level again, which is resistance. The next level higher, I mentioned the upper 80s, and then between that and 2200, they'll be banging on it here because there's lots of levels if we can get this thing through. The little dots here, you know, this would be your support area underneath here. So we'll say 70. So that's within a 10 points 10-point stop for a reversal. Yeah. The sideways, it's building up energy to either swing higher or lower. I'm leaning though towards, like I said this morning, leaning towards the upside. I did give it 40 minutes and it took about 45 before they rolled over, I think, or half an hour on some of them, it looks like. Well, but you know, they're walking in the face of higher interest rates, right? Bonds, notes were back here. As this goes down, 10-year interest rates go higher, right? So they're running into that and a stronger dollar. So think of it this way: as you may be running up the hill, you know, your stock value, but you end up having to pick up rocks, or they're throwing rocks down at you, right? They're throwing the dollar at you, and they're throwing interest rates at you. So this is the end game. 5, same thing. It's just kind of a muted deal. A couple more days of nothing here, and this would basically be a pause before another hard break lower. But I'd you know, risk-wise, I'd like to see a bounce to be able to put in some shorts here. Crude oil basically reversed here at, I should get out of that crude then. I'll get out of the crude contract. Okay. Yeah, reversal up in here. I'll just take it off for crude. Crude, I think, is going to be stuck between 44 and we'll move it up to say 48 for now. So $4 range for now. I'll say that crude can hold its happy place here. What's that? 44.5, 45. Okay. There looks like they're parking some money here again in cash. Bonds. Now see here's where we have a support level. We're about 50% back of the move. So a swing higher next week would be what I'd be looking for. That this, and if we can close above, we don't really have to close above pivot, but basically here was the close. You know, close above yesterday's high. We tested the bottom. Then you may have some follow through. I'll have to check to see what kind of data we have going on next week. We have Janet Yellen talking right now. Twos, you can see that they still haven't come out of it. So we basically have non-believers for interest rate hike in December. And then the euro, 106. All right. We have a large pattern here. Basically the reciprocal of the dollar, right? So mentally, everybody, you know, 3 low, we're going to head lower. Oops, no, I need this one, right? What I need to go further back. Try 10 years monthly. Let's see what it gives me. Okay, so here was before the takeoff. So we're basically before the takeoff, but as the dollar goes higher, this is going to come off. And this pattern is typically of like a wave 4, that there's one more hard slide to go. And that would be, see, what we're looking for is we're going to continue to move rates higher. Dollar will go up and eventually jam the economy, and then we'll lower interest rates and then the dollar will come off. I don't think you'd be buying the euro for this because we're not at that cycle yet. Okay, dots here on monthlies. So what do we have here in monthly? 106.15. So keep an eye on if you guys are short up in here, on down here at 106. You might have to tighten up your stops. All right. Oh yeah, I'm shorting Swedish kroner. Or actually I'm buying it in theory. Okay, all right, euro, gold. We get a reversal thing yet? What are these, 4 hours? Anything yet? Anything? Well, that's what happens is you give up and then it takes off. That's how it usually goes, right? Because I think today would be, we're talking about a three-day rally or 3-day bear flag. I think that's what it is. But 1, 2, not really. So we need to clear 31 again. All right. Okay, so now we're getting currency, we're getting indexes to come back here. All right, Japanese yen. Okay. Money flow is above prices, so I think we have some people going into this here. 94. And we found support here and the little dots here too. So this would be the short side of US or yen crosses. Come on, you. Keep selling. Okay. I'm going after this here. Close. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to assume here that we're going to bust through the 4,800 and we're going to head to 4,840. That's what I'm going to assume here. It's just an ugly looking chart pattern, but this would be a pretty good stop to stay long. I think we talked about that yesterday. But it's trying to clear the happy place at 4,800. Then I would expect to swing to 48.40. I guess it comes up 30. Okay. So what do we have for Fridays? Okay. We'll see if we can get this thing to swing here. See if it can hold. We need some continuation here. This isn't beneficial. I mean, okay, here's the high on the NASDAQ. And then the Dow and the Russell, jam its way up, but then the NASDAQ is faltering. So that tells me all the leaders are faltering here. Your Apple's, but we're getting a bounce there. Apple, Amazon, we're getting a bounce. So we need to get some follow through here because their bounce may be muted here. They've had a pretty good run up. I want to look at Apple. I mumbled something about Apple, I think, yesterday, about 117 or so. All right, so Apple's back into a couple of pivots. Yeah, I was 114, excuse me, I think it was. There's an area here, if it can clear, I think it was 109. It ran up there and bounced off. But the next target up would be about 113 if we get a reversal in Apple here. I believe Apple jumped the shark last year. I've been a fan of Apple for since the 2 in school, and have all the gizmos. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, seven things. Laptops. Oh, G5. What's that? I even have a beige over here. You'd be one piece of software that I love. Oh, it had the most gorgeous point and figure charts. The guy makes astronomy software and stuff now. I poked him before in the past, and he wanted 100,000 to open it back up and to tinker with it and stuff. At what point does obsolete software become public domain? Hint, hint, hint. No, but I find enough point and figure charts out there. Plus, they're pretty. You know, Kevin, it's just the price. What kind of frills do you want with this thing? Do you want, rosy colored type of deal? Do you want these, it's point and figure, but they were gorgeous. I mean, just some things just boom with your eyes. And that helps the trading too. Like some of this stuff can be a little rough for people. I mean, I look at it, I used to do audio engineering and that. I still do play guitar and keys and stuff. And so when I look at this, I know what I'm looking at right away. Like for me an Apple here, Apple's basically holding the pivots. There was some buying into it, so you'd probably get professional buying here for swing higher. But I wouldn't stay any longer than, 112.80 to 113 on Apple here. But it has to, of course it has to reverse because it's just been going down and down and down and down for about 2 years, right? My pound's at the top of the level. Of course, my fear is that it drops 200 pips. So I have to be able to stomach 200 pips, and that's where it comes, where you put money in another account and you drop your leverage to say like 10 to 1 or 20 to 1, that kind of thing, to be able to handle if you get a hard slide, because I'd want to come into this here. I'd want to buy this. So that's what you do. You just set money aside and you say, okay, I buy some here and I buy some here. That kind of thing. If it comes down, and then add in that account. Keep moving money into that account. I move money all the time. Aussie dollar, you're going to get a reversal. Where are you? Aussie dollar. Natty gas at or above. So Natty came back through. So we stopped buying at the lows. And we're now waiting for it to fly. Okay, Aussie dollar. All right. All right, buy some Aussie here. Okay, so pull back in the dollar. We should get the equities to move, right? That's in theory how it's going to happen, but wait till the dollar's at 120 in equities. But the theory here is that the pullback in the dollar would force people who are overseas to come in and buy American equities, because once American equities take off, the dollar takes off. When they repatriate, they'll get both the currency kick and also on the stock. Is in theory how it goes. So we should be finding money flow to come in. That's how it's going to look. Money should be coming in here. What is that? Balance of payments. Okay, copper. I stand aside. This is a pretty good swing up. This is chop, chop, chop. Basically a lot of options writing. What are you? You're the Dow. You're not doing so hot. Why are you not coming along with I know, because they're a conglomerate. Well, the lower dollar should help you guys today. Come on, lower dollar. Corn, so pass on that one. We don't want to stand. Bonds, I'm going to guess that we're going to get a swing in bonds. But that would mean equities falter. No, you can have them both go up on the same day. You don't have to have yin and the yang. Okay, so we're back to Natty gas. Okay, so this did hold down here at that below the 70 area held. Now we need to get it to go back above pivot again and continue to go higher. So we'll see how if these things hold here. See if this works for the day. Closing above pivot would be nice. All right, Russell, we're getting okay, depending upon if you guys are in the Russells or IW, it's one of these things that I'd write some options, say like next week, right, because you can get a chunk of it. You can also buy puts underneath, you know, further away as it swings higher. But just the whole on money flow here, we should look at a weekly though. I mean, in theory, it's running. You know, this would be your stop underneath it here for a weekly low to revisit the breakout area. Okay, so on a daily, yeah, that's a hard. That reminds me of short covering. Okay, and we're at the upper range here too. Caution, caution, caution. We need to get the Dow involved here today on a weaker dollar. That's oil. Canadian dollar should go up. Well, it may falter here with the pullback in the dollar because of oil. Oil comes down, the Canadian dollar should come down. Beans are rolling over. Like I said, I'm looking for low here in the beans to pull out all this money flow. You know, below 8.5 for beans. Next harvest in 2017, beans will be in the 7s, I'm guessing. All right, so our dollar. So, let's fatten them out since these are futures. Let's see what we have going on here. Hey, what do you know? One big old fat bar, once again, like with yesterday's video, okay, right? Yesterday, Wednesdays, early morning, yeah, okay. Poked its head through. Okay, so this is yesterday, right? We talked about this. It poked its head through, and then it reversed. Okay, and we had overnight, we dipped below 100. That was the pullback I was looking for. Sure didn't make much movement in gold or equities, right? So we had another move. We poked its head through again, but there's a lot of volume. So I'm going to guess, okay, that this pivot probably won't hold at 30. I should set an alarm. Won't hold. There, that'll work. Won't hold. But I would be looking that anything under here, that I'd be interested in covering a short if you are short the dollar here. Now look at you, you're already sitting there. Okay, because what you want to do is you want to catch the people who, you know, if you're long, what do? You put your stop under here, right? That's how it is. It breaks out. You know, you put the stop underneath. It breaks out. You put the stop underneath. It breaks out. You remove the stop, but you got dinged here, right? Didn't make a new high. So then we ended up making a new low. Now this is the last guess. And then look, big old fat volume bar in the breakout didn't happen. And we're getting a reversal. So I'd say that the dollar is going to come back down here to between, you know, 99.90, 99.80. And that's just on a 15-minute one. So I'd have to kind of move things up to see if it comes down further to like 98, which would be a nice one here. Oh, there we go. That was my opportunity. Mexican peso. Okay, Mexican peso. Let's take a look at you because you're working too on the short side. Mexican peso, why are you not at 1840 yet? Okay, here's a 2-hour chart. I'm going to guess that we're going to come through there. I think we may end up down here. What are we at? 2-hour charts, 99. Okay, so I'm going to assume that this fat bar has people in here, and this little guy coming against it is going to cause some consternation. All right, that's all we need here. I don't have any RSI or anything on here, so I'd be looking for divergence. Yeah. 99.5. Okay, so I have enough alarms here. Let's see if we finally get a pullback in the dollar. Currencies take off. Metals, silver looks like it's turned around here. 17. Here's VIX. Like I said, I wanted VIX to come down. Try to take out some of that rollover premium. So give it some time. Maybe we'll get just a screamer of a day on Friday. Oh, do I want to go back into sugar? Whoops. It is half back. options. If you want to go back into sugar, I'd do calls kind of thing. But like I said, I wanted it under 20. It's one of the, it's your, oil. I think oil's stuck for the day here. Weaker dollar may get it to come back through. What's the next target? 48 on Brent here. What do we have? Yeah. All right. Maybe we get a bounce here in the oil too. Mexican peso, this goes up, the pair goes down, the crosses go down. That's what we're looking for here. Here I am. That looks like a reversal day here. Gasoline looks a little bit better. Gasoline maybe 136 from 134. That's 2 pennies. That's at $750. Cocoa continue to go lower here. The softs. I looked at OJ lately. Yeah, it's come down too. All the softs have come down. And then what's that? Yeah, cocoa I just looked at, right? Yeah. And cotton. Cotton. Oh, remember we talked about a breakout on the upside here. All right, so it's at of this 3-year range here on the weekly. This is the upper end of the 70% of the range here. So in lieu of like the copper deal, it's one of those you close your eyes and buy and close your eyes kind of thing. But short term though, it does. It's not in there. They did not buy this thing. They're still not buying this thing. So there's more room to run. You just keep pressing until you find buyers. There. And we've gone full circle here. Okay, so I'd assume here that we're going to get the dollar to continue higher. We're probably going to take out the highs in the S&P. Crude oil should bounce. Bonds also, they both can go up on the same day. People talk about it. The euro here on the monthly, be careful. What am I at? Okay. 107.12. So it's 30 pips higher there. Gold. Holy buckets, just get above this, please, so we can. 64. Gosh, wouldn't that be a scary thing, huh? Just things uncertain, give it some time, and then the certainty picks up. And the yen. Okay. All right. And Apple. What did I see? Okay, so here's the 17 level. Okay, so 17, 15, and then 13 level. We get a reversal in Apple. It should, the angle of ascent should be sharp, but I would look at that as short covering rally. And then I talked about, what did I talk about? GFI, did it hold the bottom? Okay, GFI, basically we're getting a turn there. And then the other one I pointed out, I think was Nike. Nike for a couple of bucks higher. So we have the first dollar in there, but we're at a level here. So one of those, if, I said $2 to $4, I think I said. And we're at 41.5. So we're basically halfway through the first couple of bucks, basically, from the low areas down here. So it'd be like one of those, if you're long, write some options here, write some calls, I'm not saying we're going to get a full reversal. The money flow basically says it's going to continue on. Once it can clear this, then it should move real quickly here. That's a British pound. Okay, and my Aussie dollar. All right, I'll let everybody go. And come on, Dow. Dow's the only laggard here. The Dow should help the situation. Natural gas. So we went up, came back down. All right. So there you go. Let's take a look at our friend at DRYS one more time. 24. Round trip, as they say. That's just too bad. It's too bad. But that's, you know, it's, and look, for all of us that played this in 2000, 99 and 2000, this is the commonplace. And like I says, it doesn't end well. The worst thing is remember, they now have, that's right, they now have, oh my gosh, they have limits on stocks. I don't know if it's broad-based, widespread, or if it's just limited, but that's right. After I believe it was the Chinese, where stocks ETNs and Fs traded below book value, they decided to put in collars on stocks. And so in the futures, you know about this. You might be limit up, limit up, limit up, and then all of a sudden it reverses and it's limit down, limit down, limit down, and you can't get out. So, holy buckets. And you can see why it pretty much opened up right here. That's too bad. All right. Well, everyone have yourself a wonderful day.